So this video is talking about electrical architecture and about electrical devices and buildings that we forgot about them. We forgot how they function, and they were um, taken as just architectural pieces, but in fact, they had also a technological use. Let's see this UAP channel that has a lot of pertinent information about the subject.
See brick buildings that are immense. Sometimes they're not brick, sometimes they're stone. And we see widespread destruction, no trees, mud everywhere. We see obelisks, and there'll be more on that in the other video about the electrical architecture. We see these arches, like the Arc de Triomphe.
So electrical architecture, architecture that is incorporating electrical devices of static electricity used in the past that nobody talks about in our schools, and it's almost forgotten, but at the present moment, we have a team of private researchers that are doing reverse engineering of these devices incorporated in the architecture.
For the arch, the Dennis Arch that's been moved. All kinds of these things. And we see things we don't understand. Like this. How it's drawn up. It doesn't match up the historical timeline. And we'll talk about that with the electrical architecture. The fountains. Bartholdi did not make the fountains out of thin air for an exposition. These things were everywhere. And the building in the background looks curious, especially the proportions. The mud, the vanilla skies trying to hide how the distant horizon shows no life, yet zillions of structures. And then there are these orphan kids running around, the hard Scrabble life of the destitute, primitive past. The architecture doesn't say anything like that. The architecture says that something horrible happened that deactivated much of the technology that existed. In these expositions, it's nothing more than, it's like a hunter's belt. When they hang the skins of the animals they hunted temporarily after the big hunt, the treasures are collected up, they're shown at the exposition, and then they're dispensed with or dispersed, they're gone. After the West was won, after the West was conquered, it wasn't eminent domain, they called it manifest destiny. Well, all those treasures were supposedly, donated and imported from countries. There were so many of them, nobody could even really see them all, and then, they show up at Christie's, in 2019, or some other auction house. One thing you'll notice, though, a lot of things are made of bricks. I mean, a lot of things. A lot of buildings that are huge. These buildings are built kind of like how we build buildings today, but the scale. Okay. So look at this building. It's like, okay, yeah, there's a house like this on most, Main Street, small to mid-sized American towns will have a mansion like this on the high ground of the main street, But look at the lady. You see the lady in the bottom left corner walking along? She's in the foreground, folks. That's how huge this mansion is. So what's going on? A lot of stuff. But what I want to point out is the fact that it's made of bricks. A lot of bricks. Well, how many bricks? Well, yeah. How many bricks? Thousands, definitely. But no, more than that. Millions in some cases for some buildings. Now that building would be made from thousands or tens of thousands of bricks. But there are things made of bricks we don't even think about. Like this Severn Tunnel. There's one made of bricks possibly in 1810 that supposedly didn't go anywhere or do anything. It was one of these so-called supposed unsuccessful tunnels. Yeah. But they eventually got it right in the late 1800s, supposedly, and constructed this tunnel. And there's an interesting story that goes along with it that I'll share because I believe it's real, and I believe that there's a hero in this story whose achievement deserves to be recognized because of what he did. But I want to point out that tunnel is made from 76.4 million bricks, okay? So that is about as many as these cathedrals are made of that I'm going to show you. And it's all going to come together. I will demonstrate the absurdity of the historical narrative simply by looking at bricks. So this tunnel goes beneath the river over in England or Wales by 15 meters under the bottom of the riverbed. It's ballsy, you think, in the 1800s to be building that. But the hero of the story, I have to tell you, the pump didn't work, and so all their work would be for naught if the tunnel were flooded and you couldn't get the pump started and get the water out. And it's murky, dark, and there was no such thing really as scuba diving, and somebody had to dive down hundreds of meters across and get the pump working and get that flowing and not get sucked in and all this kind of stuff.
So this was the video about high technology that was in the past and we forgot about it.